Fix? You can fix a stamp on a letter.
You won't fix anyone, Tommy, unless you learn to keep that guard up.
Simon, I must have a word with you.
Oh, right. Now, take it easy, you two. We'll carry on later.
I've heard from the landlords. They won't renew the lease.
What?
But they've given us first option to buy.
Very generous. Buy or get out, eh? What are we going to do?
Well, we can't afford to buy.
So it's get out.
We shall have to close the club down while we look for new premises.
Close the club?
We'll never find another place at this rent.
We can't close down. The boys need the club. It's the only civilizing influence in their lives.
Oh, you're breaking my arm!
I was just showing Tommy how to fix a rozzer.
What is a rozzer? Some sort of animal?
Well, yes, sir. He's a cop.
You be the policeman, Nutter, and show Tommy how to tackle someone who's stolen your savings.
Right.
Oh! How much do we need to buy the club?
4,000.
You're the treasurer, Simon. How much have we got?
40. And the £500 Mrs. Jones left us in her will.
If only there were others like her, imbued with the same spirit of charity.
I'm afraid I don't believe in miracles. How on earth are we going to raise 4,000?
Well, some people manage to raise as much as £4,000.
Which people?
Oh, people, not none, I'm afraid.
I'd do anything to get it. I'd go out and scrub floors.
No, you don't make floors that size.
We must raise the money. We've got to think of something new, something bold, something daring. I have it.
What?
A flag day.
A flag day?
I'd like to help out.
Flag day.
Yeah.
Oh, a threepenny piece. I'm afraid I've nothing smaller.
Hello, sir.
What about a jumble sale?
A jumble sale?
Jumble sale? 19 and 11.
7 and 7pence.
10 shillings.
All those weeks of work, and what do we get?
20 customers and...
£1, 17 and 6pence. It's going to take a lot of jumble sales to raise £4,000.
We have lost the day. Our heads are... Well, why not quote straight from the shoulder? Bloody. Our heads are bloody, but unbowed.
What does that mean?
It means I shall have to write to the landlords and tell them we can't buy the hall.
Well, not yet. Suppose we get another legacy.
Of 4,000?
Well, suppose we get 8 other legacies of 500.
That's a very hard thing to suppose.
Oh, well, don't write yet. Something may happen. Wish I knew someone who could think of something.
If I was rich, I'd think. When you're poor, you've got too much on your mind for thinking. Oh, Stella, I'd do anything. I'd even rob a bank if I had the chance.
I can't see you with a gun.
I can't see me with a gun either. I wish I could meet someone with money. But I'm not likely to while I'm only a printer.
Appointment, Mr. Bentham, with Mr. Robertson.
Ah. 540 pages of drivel. Send it back, Miss Hamilton. Tell them we can't afford to publish drivel. Unless it's by somebody of importance.
In those words, Mr. Bentham?
Certainly not. It may be somebody of importance that we've never heard of. Like a head waiter or a general. Oh, by the way, did you see in the papers this morning that General Sir Frederick Hunter has died?
Fancy, sir.
I wish he'd written a book. These old soldiers' memoirs are as heavy as army boots, but they always sell.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I wasn't thinking.
You look as though you're thinking, Simon.
I was thinking. I was thinking I'd rather like to go to General Hunter's funeral, sir.
Go to his funeral?
You see, I'll make up the time later. I served under him during the war.
I sympathize. Was he a good soldier?
He was a bit too military for the army.
I wish he'd written a book. These old soldiers' memoirs always sell. I wish he'd written a book. A book, a book, a book.
The Corruption of Bunny Cunningham, a novel by General Sir Frederick Hunter, KCB, DSO.
Registered letter, my lady.
For me?
It's addressed to Lady Hunter, sir.
Open it, Wilson. Charles.
Mother?
Something terrible.
In the Persian Gulf?
No, not Arabs. It's your father. Before he died, he did a dreadful thing.
Alistair, get your grandmother a whiskey and soda.
Whiskey and soda for her ladyship, Wilson, please.
The situation has passed beyond whiskey and soda.
Make it neat, Wilson.
You're all right, Mother.
It's terrible.
Did Father...
That'll be all, Wilson.
Did Father do the kind of thing that isn't mentioned in the mess?
Don't be silly, Charles. He was much too old for that. This is a letter from a publisher. Before he died, secretly, your father wrote a book. These are the proofs.
The old boy wrote a book. Well, lots of people write books, Father. I mean, all sorts of long-haired eggs are at it all the time.
This is the story of a ballet dancer.
Oh, what?
A male ballet dancer.
Ah!
The book is called The Corruption of Bunny Cunningham.
What corrupted him?
The army corrupted him.
I say, that's going a bit far. Night after night, Bunny bravely practiced his entrechat in his army boots. Or pirouetted merrily around the barracks, blanco belt flashing, while from a dark corner the colonel watched, his small pig's eyes glittering like the points of twin bayonets. "Why isn't Sapper Cunningham getting drunk in the naff?" he shouted. "I'll have no unhealthy activities in my regiment. If this book's published, I'll have to resign my commission. Why, damn it all, they'll make jokes about us in camp concerts."
Colonel Hunter shouted, "No, we can't have a dancing NCO."
Silence, Alistair! Mother, who's the publisher?
Well, the publisher is Bentham, established 1826. He's sending his partner, a Mr. Simon Hurd, to call on us this afternoon at 3 o'clock.
Mr. Hurd.
Oh, good afternoon. I am Lady Hunter. My son, Colonel Hunter.
How do you do?
My grandson, Lieutenant Hunter.
How do you do? How do you do? So the whole family's in the army.
You quite aroused our interest in books, Mr. Hurd. Tell me, do many people read?
Thousands will read The Corruption of Bunny Cunningham.
John, Mr. Hurd refers only to civilians. The army does not tend to read.
Well, we're doing a very special edition for the army with a khaki cover and very large print.
We have misgivings about the publication of...
Ah, but your husband will get full credit, Lady Hunter. I'd like to have one of these photographs for my book jacket. Yes. Yes.
This book must not be published.
Oh, why not?
I refuse permission.
But, your father has sold it to us.
I'll sue the firm.
My late husband regarded the artistic temperament as a sign of a diseased mind. It is my duty to uphold that tradition. I must ask you to withdraw the book.
Withdraw it? But printing's already begun.
Then stop it.
Oh, we've already spent a great deal of money on this book.
Are you interested in money?
Oh, not really. I like the British Army more. The Army and money, in that order. But my partner, Mr. Bentham, he likes them the other way round.
How much have you spent?
Oh, no, really, I couldn't. Oh, it's far too embarrassing. I do wish I could withdraw this book for nothing.
You know our family motto? Agir, pensons plus tard.
We act. Later, we think.
I propose to act now. Here's my cheque for £500, Mr. Hurd.
Oh, you really shouldn't have done this. Goodbye, Lady Hunter.
Goodbye. Such a pleasure to have met a real army lover.
Oh.
Allow me to show you the way out.
Charmed. Mr. Pitt, come down. I want to call a committee meeting.
What, now?
We've had another legacy. £500.
What? Am I all right? Yes, I am all right.
General Sir Frederick Hunter. He remembered us in his will.
£500.
We may be able to save the club. Yes, he may be an example to others.
I feel he will be.
But how did he hear about us?
Well, I served under him during the war, but I didn't really get to know him until I went to his funeral.
His funeral?
There's something about a funeral that makes you think.
Well, I still don't believe we got the money because you went to his funeral. So how did he hear of us?
Oh, the army is interested in so many things.
For instance?
Foreign travel.
And ballet dancing. Well, the general was crazy about ballet dancing.
How extraordinary.
Yes, isn't it? I met his family today. A nice informal lot. It's a funny thing. They're crazy about ballet dancing, too.
What exactly were you doing?
An entourage, sir.
Oh, what?
A sort of exercise. It's a way of keeping fit.
You were doing PT in the drawing room?
A sort of moving about to music.
Exercises to music?
Yes.
Sounds damn like dancing to me. Alistair, what is an entourage?
Well, you jump up in the air and you cross your feet whilst you're up.
Well, that's hardly likely to help you in the army.
Well, that's if I stay in.
What do you say?
I said there's nothing very much in the paper today, sir. The Bishop of Harchester's dead.
My husband, the bishop, was a poet. I dare hardly hope the verses were in Latin.
Oh, no, they're quite readable.
Oh, wild one, come to the woods with me. We lie and look at the leaves above. Our hearts will tremble with the tree. We'll teach the birds new songs of love. But it's printed. Otherwise, I would hardly believe. My husband never even spoke to a wild woman. Well, not even a slightly doubtful one.
We're going to call the book Moments of Madness.
Oh, dear. My husband was almost unreasonably sane.
What a flimsy thing reputation is. A few outspoken love poems and it's gone.
Oh, woman, feed the flames in me. What woman?
We shall never know.
What flames?
We can only guess.
Do you think it's wise to publish? I mean, the church has been so very good about science. Perhaps it would be a little hard to expect it to be good about fashion.
I'm afraid we couldn't stop publication. We've already spent £350.
£350? It's a lot of money. If I were to write you a teeny-weeny cheque, Would that be all right then, dear Mr. Hurd?
A teeny weeny check would be very nice, dear Mrs. Waring.
Come in.
You wanted me, sir?
Yes, Simon. How's the printing going?
Oh, all right, sir.
Simon, I sent for you because complaints have been made.
About me, sir?
Yes. You will persist in doing overtime without extra pay.
Oh, but I told you when I went to the general's funeral, I'd make up the time.
Yes, you've made up enough time to bury every general in the War Office.
I don't mind, sir.
But I do. You'll get me into serious trouble. It's against my agreement with the union. I'll have to fire you. Then they'll discover that you're a union man and go on strike because I fired you. The printing presses will stop because you persist in doing overtime without extra pay.
I'm sorry, Mr. Bentham. I didn't want to cause all that trouble and be fired.
Then don't do any more overtime.
But I like it. I can get on with what I'm printing.
What is on the presses now?
Wolverhampton is my mother.
Oh, that book's like fish and chips boiled in iron filings. No overtime on that.
But
No overtime.
Right, sir. There's no good my asking for time off. I wanted to go to a funeral.
You went to one last week.
Yes, that was to pay last tribute to a great bishop.
And now?
It's Sam Stukey.
He's a Communist Party leader.
That's right. That's why I want to go.
And you wish to pay him a last tribute, just like the bishop? General, a bishop, and a Communist Party leader. You have a very wide taste in last tributes, Simon.
It's just that I like funerals. They seem to inspire me.
Very well. Go. Be inspired.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Bentham. I'll make it up in overtime.
No! Remind me, Miss Hamilton, next time I'm in a bad mood, there's something very fishy about that printer. 50 years a scoutmaster.
Are you likely to be in a bad mood soon, sir?
I'm absolutely certain of it.
It was a quiet funeral.
Aye. We have Comrade Stukey's ashes in a drawer.
In a drawer?
Aye. He didn't want to be buried in a capitalist cemetery, run for the profits of the rich. He wanted his ashes to be scattered in outer space from a rocket. But it's a very difficult thing to arrange with the customs authorities. They're that prejudiced against the Soviet Union that they'd never let the parcel through. It's no good you talking about sending them up in an American satellite. The Americans will never let a communist enter their country, even in the form of ashes. Do you want a cup of tea?
Oh, thanks.
You'll get none of your fancy china here.
I sent you a letter.
Aye, you sent us a letter saying that Comrade Stukey had sold you a book before he died. I'll never understand why I went to a firm like Bentham's, which is a mere lackey of imperialism, and one of the chains that the working class will throw into the fires of non-violent revolution, which will soon be raging from one end of Europe, Africa, Australasia, America, and Antarctica to the other.
Yes, thank you very much. Brought you these proofs.
Oh, aye, the proofs, aye. Artists had labored over her shining hair. Loving craftsmen had constructed her delicate shoes. She was the finest product of Western civilization, the boss's daughter. The boss's daughter? Watching her, Sebastian saw how the surly faces of the workers lit up as she came tripping blithely towards him. Oh, it must have worthy of her, he swore. While a twinkle stole into the shrewd old millionaire's kindly eyes.
Would you like to make any alterations?
Alterations? If this book ever comes out, the Communist Party will lose the masses again, even if we punch Comrade Stukey. Which isn't so easy as he's dead already. All right. We're all realists today. I'll buy the book back. How much?
Oh, $4.50?
What are you doing, Simon?
Just making out my accounts.
I've noticed that all these checks are made out to you. Not the only thing I've noticed.
Carry 3, making a grand total of 2,850. Only 1,150 to get.
Simon, why are you wearing a black armband?
Oh, I've just been to a funeral.
But you wear the black armband all the time.
I go to a lot of funerals. I like funerals.
I want to know why you like funerals.
They fill me with feelings about this world. The emptiness of it all. Pomp, vanity, fame. What are they worth? Nothing. Oh, I wouldn't say nothing, exactly.
But these legacies, they're something to do with you, aren't they?
I try to make the rich think. I write little things to touch their hearts, and then they sort of, leave us money.
I had no idea you were so enterprising. You're not doing something wrong, are you?
Oh, Simon wouldn't do anything wrong. You're not forging wills, are you?
Oh, Reverend.
Nutter!
I was just showing Tommy how a policeman could creep up behind an atom spy and fix it.
A policeman would never use such a method. You have to think of something else.
How about this, sir? Now, get on his foot and smack him in the eye with his own knee. No?
No.
Simon. Don't get into trouble. Promise me you won't do anything wrong.
I promise.
One joke and I've broken his neck.
Good night. Good night, Simon.
Good night. Just have to squeeze.
That is not the way to fight the battle of life.
Do you know a better way, sir? Come on, show us.
You must always fight fair. You must face the world with your guard up and a straight left.
Look out behind you, sir. No! Oh! It's no use facing the world if you're being attacked from behind now, is it, sir?
Mary Seaton, lower 5B, is denied la crosse.
I say, no lacquers, whatever for.
She was powdering her nose in biology.
I don't think she should be stopped games.
Bunty, I know you are the games mistress, but we of her staff must never forget poor Millicent's dictum. Farewell, foul rouge, and hail to maths and Greek. The educated mind abhors the painted cheek.
I'm sorry, you're quite right. Quite right.
Oh, Bunty.
Yes?
Millicent has written a book.
Oh, good show. Jolly good show.
The publisher wants me to correct the proofs.
Oh.
Read the title.
Sex and How to Get It. By Millicent Hartington, late headmistress of Lowdean School.
Read on.
After a lifetime devoted to education, my only regret is that 60 years ago, I did not go into the chorus. There are 3 types of girls: man-eaters, rosebuds, and sourpussies.
Cut yourself a slice of sex. It's nearly free. The girl who's never said yes cannot learn when to say no. Bunty, if the girls get hold of this, we may as well move to Bond Street.
Couldn't we invite the publisher down and ask him not to publish it?
Yes, and then I can appeal to his better feelings.
Oh, but he's a man. He may not have any.
Then I shall offer him money. It can come out of Millicent's memorial fund.
But if you offer him money, won't he be offended?
Not if it's enough.
Girls' school, 350, and another 200. Only 600 more to get.
Where did this last 200 come from?
From the secretary of the Furry Friends League.
Why did he leave his money to boys?
What do you mean?
I could understand if it had been rabbits.
I wrote a kind of appealing letter.
What did you say?
Oh, some little things about blood sports, fox hunting, big game shooting, and all that. Perhaps he was amused. I was.
And the Conservative cabinet minister?
Well, it's quite reasonable he should leave his money to a boys' club. Maybe he hoped to turn the boys into young Conservatives.
And the communist leader hoped to turn them into young communists. And I suppose the Furry Friends man hoped to turn them into squirrels.
Well, perhaps he didn't want them in the fur trade.
And did the schoolmistresses want to turn the boys into girls? Simon, why won't you tell me what you're doing? Don't you trust me?
Esther, I'd trust you with my
You've
life.
been so secretive. You used not to have a secret in you. You were quite empty.
Empty? Oh, I'm sorry.
Not empty. I didn't mean that. You were very nice. But now you're mysterious. It makes you more interesting.
Interesting? Me?
You won't forget you promised not to get into trouble.
Oh, this scheme of mine is foolproof. It can't go wrong.
And it doesn't hurt anyone?
Of course not. Now, take that general's family. They'll have forgotten I ever existed.
Give me a brass band any time or one of the old tunes.
What was that music, Charles?
Oh, some of that ballet stuff. If you ask me, all this dance and ballet business ought to be stopped by law.
The government's culture mad and full of intellectuals. One doesn't know what to do about them. Charles, how is your blood pressure?
My blood pressure's perfect.
Then may I show you something? Wilson, the object we found in Mr. Allister's room.
Well, they're not in army issue, and no officer would wear these under his uniform.
These are not undergarments. They're articles worn by dancers, ballet dancers.
Where's Mr. Allister?
In the conservatory, sir.
Tell him to come here at once.
What have you been doing in the conservatory, Allister?
Listening to the echoes.
That will be all, Wilson.
What set are these?
Oh, they're for dancing.
Dear boy, you can't go to a hunt ball in those. Think how the girls would laugh.
Oh, no, they're for practicing at the bar.
The bar?
The bar. In a ballet school, you know, so you take the bar and you swing backwards and forwards, and you turn around and... As a matter of fact, sir, I've been meaning to tell you for rather a long time. Ever since I read The Corruption of Bunny Cunningham, I've been mad about the ballet. I'm going to resign my commission.
You what?
I'm going to be a ballet dancer.
It's that book. It's driven the boy mad. It's that publisher. I'm going to find him. I'm going to horsewhip him.
Horsewhipping is so dated, Charles. Try and keep a young mind.
Comrade?
Yes, comrade?
I want you to take a letter, comrade.
Ready, comrade.
It would maybe be better if you were to call me sir, comrade. My dear Lord Dilling. Is that the correct way to address a lord?
Not in the Communist Party.
My very dear Lord Dilling. You know who he is, don't you?
He's an arms manufacturer. I can remember you describing him as a radioactive capitalist crocodile.
He's the father of a young girl, and he's given her a fine birthday present, so we'll not hold his millions against him. Ah, she's a bonny, bonny lass. Have you ever been stirred by the tender emotions, comrade? No, I see you haven't, so we'll get on with the letter. My very dear Lord Dilling, your factory has advertised for a work supervisor. I am your man. I wonder, should I tell him that I'm maybe just a wee bit left-wing in my views? What do you think, comrade?
Ah, youth, youth. Still an open question. Gertrude! You've had your hair dyed. It's tinted. It washes out. You've had yours waved. Set, it washes out, too. Smells like Paris. Jolly good show. What strange new lips you've got. Ah, but then, of course, you're the man-eating type. Well, I think I'm a rosebud. Dear, listen, her book has made such an intellectual difference to us both. Yes. Because I can't quite get the hang of this mascara business. Oh, just a minute, dear. Milton's book doesn't really help very much. Thank you. I say, who could show us how to do it properly? Well, I have a plan for our half-term. I thought we could drop in at Elizabeth Arden's, just for a little chat about the tricks of the trade. Well, and then we might lunch somewhere madly gay. We could ask a friend. What about that nice little publisher? He was so kind about poor Millicent's book. He didn't take offense when you offered him money. We could call at his office in a casual way. Just to say, howdy.
Yes?
Good afternoon, dear publisher.
Good afternoon, dear lady.
Do you remember our little talk about science and the passions?
Which little talk?
We were discussing my husband's reputation, which will always be a sacred thing to me. It's our secret. Ours alone, yours and mine, forever. But now, I mean to surprise you.
You've done that already, madam.
Speak no more of wealth. Don't upset the apple cart. If you doubt my passion's health, oh, be my stethoscope and listen to my heart. Would you like to publish that one alone, or would you like 200 or 300 more? I find it so very easy to write.
Listen, dear lady, either we have a secret about which I know nothing, or this is a wrong number.
You're not Mr. Hurd?
Mr. who?
So sorry.
Hurd. Mr. Hurd. Simon Hurd. Miss Hamilton! I've just had a telephone call. Get me the switchboard, girl.
Oh, she's gone. It's nearly 6 o'clock.
Get Simon Hurd.
Oh, you asked me to remind you there's something fishy about him.
Where is he?
Well, he's gone. The printers go at 5.
Ah, it's nice of them to look in here between lunch and tea.
Do you need me any more tonight, Mr. Benton?
Tonight is 5:30, the night. Oh, very well. Run along to bed, Miss Hamilton. I will explore my silent ship alone. So, Simon, I've caught you at last, eh?
I'm very sorry, sir. I didn't mean to work overtime. I'll accept pay if you like. But you see, sir, the book I was working on was so fascinating, I couldn't stop.
What's it called?
A Fishmonger Looks Back. You wouldn't believe the things they can do with old cod.
Really? Keeley Street Boys Club, £4,000 celebration, dance, dance, dance. Is this a piece of the old cod?
Well, you see, sir, the Boys Club have nearly raised enough money to buy their premises. I know I shouldn't have been using the printing press for things like this, but I was only trying to help them.
I must admit it's not exactly what I expected to find.
Well, what did you expect, sir?
Oh, I don't know, something fishy.
What do you mean about the Fishmonger's book?
Why is it a £4,000 celebration?
Well, that's the amount we had to raise.
How long did you take to raise it?
3 months.
3 months?
Well, we're still £400 short.
Takes me a very long time to make £4,000.
Oh, we've got a clergyman on our committee.
Perhaps I should ask him in here as sales manager.
Oh, no, he despises business. Some people are like that. It's funny, isn't it?
Do you despise business, huh?
You know, sometimes I think I have the knack. But only when I'm in the mood.
Yes, well, I must hear more about your mood some other time.
You can keep those, sir.
Good night.
Good night, sir. Why don't you come to the dance yourself?
Oh, thank you.
The boys wouldn't mind.
Thank you.
Well, Mama, your older boy Nick had a lovely send-off.
Poor Nick is dead.
He's gone.
He is in the cold, cold ground.
We'll drink to dear Nick's memory.
Wanted in 3 countries. To Nick,
La salute.
a son to be proud of.
You'll be proud of your younger boy Dino one day, Mama, when I get the bandage off again.
It's a parcel for you, Dino Morelli.
What's in the parcel? A bomb from the Boldoni gang?
Oh, it's too small for a bomb.
You don't give up with progress, Mama. Big bombs are now smaller than small bombs.
Go on, open it.
It says, Nick. My brother Nick wrote a book before he died. It's impossible.
Give to me.
Fairy Tales from Soho by Nick Morelli. Little fairy Tweedleby lived in the teeniest, weeniest, tiniest, whiniest house, all made of rose petals.
What you say?
rose petals. But in the bigger house at the top of the garden, there was a naughty, very bigger man who did not like fairies. This booger guy is coming here today. What shall I tell him, Mama?
Blow his head off. Then let him swim for it in the river.
Mr. Morelli?
Come in, friend.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, please to come into our little circle, Mr. Ed. I am Mama Morelli. Did you see the funeral today? 57 cars. Nick could not have wished for a better start in the next life had he been the president of General Motors. Oh, please, this is a Maxie.
How do you do?
And Benny.
Oh.
And this is a Dr. Cantari. He does all our plastic surgery.
And death certificates.
Shut your big trap, Doctor. Excuse him, please. This is only his bedside manner. Oh, please, sit down.
Oh, thanks. Thanks.
How you like your tea? A drop of gin in it?
Just as it comes, please.
Doc, we don't want your surgical saw to slip. A piece of cake, Mr. Ed?
No, thank you.
I baked it for poor Nick. It was cooling on the cake tray when they drilled him.
Look, I wanted to talk about this book of Mr. Nick Morelli's.
Who will cut the first slice?
I'll cut the first slice.
Have some cake, friend.
No, thank you. It's a bit too rich for me.
I said have some cake, friend.
No, really, thanks. I don't like cake between meals.
Maybe this is not between meals.
Mr. Morelli, I want to talk business about your brother's book of fairy stories.
My brother, tell me.
Well, I will. We're getting it on children's television, you see, and they'd like you to give a talk about your brother showing the knives and bombs that actually inspired Nick to write these sweet little fairy stories.
You want me to show my face on television? Me? It's a plot. It's a filthy trick. I'll kill you for that.
Now, my boy, to carve human flesh, you need fine surgeon's fingers.
I fully understand why you don't want to appear on television.
Do you?
Yes, but you see, we've bought all the rights of this book from your brother, and we can do anything we like with it unless...
Unless?
Unless you buy the rights back again, £400.
Oh, you...
Shut up, you dope. Give him the check.
Yes, Mama.
My coat, please. Well, thanks. And thanks for the tea and all that. Good night, all. It's been very nice meeting you.
Why did I have to give him the check, Mama?
Because he has a tumble. If you don't pay him, he goes to the cops.
So I do pay him. What if he still goes to the cops?
No, he won't. Now he has the check. He's in a worse than we are.
If he comes back for more?
Cut him into strips and sell him a spaghetti.
You two boys see Mr. Pitt?
He's not here yet, sir.
Hey, sir, what would you do if you were attacked by a gang in a dark alley?
What would I do if I were... Look out behind you, Nutter.
Oh, no, sir, not that old gag. That wouldn't fool anyone.
Except Mr. Pitt.
Yes.
Did I hear my name being taken in vain?
Mr. Pitt, I've got it. The last £400.
Simon.
Magnificent.
400 exactly.
Yes, I must enter it up.
Simon. Another legacy.
This one is more of a gift.
Very kind of whoever it was. Who was it?
Nick Morelli.
Nick Morelli. The gangster.
Businessman.
Can't take anything from him.
It was his greatest wish that all his money should go to worthy causes.
Who told you about Morelli's wishes?
Just been having tea with his dear old mother. And the family doctor. Nick's brother Dino gave me this check. He's such a nice chap.
What's wrong?
There seems to be a slight mistake in the way the check's made out. It's all right. I'll take it back.
Why do you look so worried?
Who, me? Worried? Oh, no. I just don't like being a nuisance. Intruding on such nice people. Good evening, Mrs. Morelli. And family. You made a mistake when you signed that check, Mr. Morelli. Would you mind putting it right? You see, banks won't cash checks signed by dead men. You signed it Nick Morelli instead of Dino.
New nose is not enough for you, Nick. What you want is new brain grafted on.
Oh, Nick? But he's not Nick. He's...
I am Nick. The guy you said brought the fairy tales.
Nick. We won't bother about the check. You keep it. Then who's in the coffin?
There's nobody in the coffin.
There's nobody?
Nobody.
That's rather unusual, isn't it?
Well, we are friends with an undertaker and with a doctor.
Nick wasn't friends with the police, so he had to die to be born again as his little brother, Dino. The nastiest little baby I ever brought into the world.
Doc, you gotta work faster on this guy.
You want his death certificates already? It's too soon, Ma. You don't understand medical etiquette.
Fix it.
All right. What would you like to die of? Something homely or a dramatic Eastern disease? I fit it in just the way you want.
Keep him here. We can always put him in the airing cupboard.
Copper, plain clothes and unfriendly.
Let him in. Mr. Ed, if you walk, we talk. Understand?
Hello, one and all. Who's who?
This is my son, Dino.
How'd you hurt your nose, Dino? Bumped into a passing jeweler's window, I suppose. And who is this?
I'm, just a friend.
The Morellis are going to need all the friends they can get. I have a piece of news for you, Mrs. Morelli.
This news is always interesting.
We've got an exhumation order. We're going to dig up Nick.
You can't do that to my boy.
I was going to do very much worse to your boy, but I got the warrant for his arrest just 4 hours too late.
Mamma mia, but my boy is safe in heaven.
I'll look for him nearer home if that coffin's empty.
Empty? What you mean, you rat?
I mean, there better be a body in that coffin, or there's going to be a new resident in Dartmoor.
There'll be a body in the coffin, all right. I give you my word as a mother. It's going to be a body there.
Good night, all.
Nice fellow. Is he working for you?
He's going to.
I'll be off and sharpen up my spade. We'll give you a receipt for Nick's mortal remains, if any. You want to get that bandage off your nose. Then you'll be able to smell trouble when it comes.
There he is. Excuse me, where can I go?
Straight down there, first on the right. It's Mr. Hurd.
Having trouble.
Trouble?
With a book.
Book?
There's a gang after me.
What sort of a gang?
Authors with guns. I've got to hide.
Put this lot on.
Thanks. I'll explain later. Don't I know your face?
Lieutenant Hunter.
They're gone. How did you get mixed up with this? Well, you see, it all started at the boys' club.
Now, this is going to be a very busy morning, Miss Hamilton, so I want absolute quiet. If any authors call to see me, be absolutely frank with them. Tell them that I prefer Death Watch Beatles to authors and send them home to get on with their writing. Right. The spring book list. Number 1. Guilt is my goddess. A bitter-sweet romance by Beryl Arkwright. She's a very odd woman. She wears red knitted stockings. There's great white patches of leg showing through the holes. Her myriad readers will find...
A snowdrop blew a kiss at me. A snowflake landed on my nose. But will you warm my frozen toes? Oh, sorry. Wrong man.
Myriad readers will be enchanted with her latest book, which is just like having a bath in porridge. It concerns the vibrating emotions.
Do excuse.
We expected to find dear Mr. Hurd in this office.
We just popped in to ask him to pop out for lunch.
Dip, dip.
Who were they?
I don't know.
Vibrating emotions of 3 people in love. Page 2, Neurosis and the Budgerigar. A fascinating book for all those who
Yes, Mr. Benton?
like idiotic birds. Get me Simon Hurd.
Where is he? I demand satisfaction. Are you Bentham?
I am beginning to regret it.
Produce Hurd. I intend to have him shot.
So do I.
He's guilty of treason. He has tried to destroy the British Army by turning them all into ballet dancers.
All?
Particularly my son, Lieutenant Hunter.
My secretary will look after you.
Right.
And Miss Hamilton, give Miss Fair back to the nearest barracks. Get Simon Hurd.
Simon here. Mr. Benton, I come up right away.
There he is.
I've got to hide, sir.
By all means, help yourself.
Where'd he go?
He went out the window.
We just want to see my people.
These people insist on seeing Mr. Hurd.
All right. Tell them all I'll see them in half an hour's time. Oh, and Miss Hamilton.
Yes.
Ask them to leave their guns and razors in the outer office, will you? Simon, it's time to explain.
Well, sir, it's like this.
So you see, he deceived you all. But, as I've explained, at least not for his own profit.
Yeah. I'm afraid Mr. Hurd has been a very, very naughty. How with such a sense of humor. He would even have made the dear bishop smile. I must admit that Millicent never had anything to do with members of the opposite sex, but I do feel that she would have liked to do something for the boys in order to balance all those girls. Don't you agree?
Of course.
Stuff and nonsense. The fellow's a common swindler.
Come now, Colonel. I'm sure the General would never have objected to a good, healthy institution like a boys' club.
That's not the point, madam. Look what this fellow Hurd's doing to my son, turning him into a bloody dancer. Where's Hurd anyway?
I let him go.
You what? Well, I'm going to call the police. I intend to have him arrested.
Journalist.
May I suggest that we all go down to this club tonight to see for ourselves that the money is being devoted to a good cause?
What a great idea. You're such a clever...
Well, I only want to see that he gets 15 years.
Good evening. Good evening. Simon. Well, Simon, this is a great night for the club.
Yes.
You see, Stella, miracles do happen. I'm going to see the landlords tomorrow to sign the new lease. Of course, we are still £400 short. That last legacy, Simon, which never materialized.
A sudden hitch, I'm afraid. A question of signatures.
Oh, never mind. They've agreed to wait for the 400. The most important thing is that we've managed to raise £3,600.
Yes.
Well, I must get things started. On with the dance. Let joy be unconfined. Up to a point. Come on, boys. Get hip.
We haven't got 3,600.
What do you mean?
I've got to give it all back.
Give it back? Is this something to do with the funerals and the legacies?
There were no legacies. I've been blackmailing all those people, and now Mr. Benton has found out. They'll probably arrest me tonight. Keep away from me, Stella. You mustn't be seen talking to me. I'm a wanted man. I'm an outcast from society. They're here. I must go.
Welcome to the dance, sir.
I detest dancing.
Oh, come, Colonel, just march rapidly to the music. You'll enjoy it as much as anyone.
Boy, where's Hurd?
Are you friends of his, sir?
I positively not.
I think he's here yet. Here, natural. Have you seen Mr. Hurd?
Me?
Admission 206.
Don't ask for credit.
A refusal may offend.
But we are friends, true friends, I hope, of Mr. Hurd.
Okay. He's here.
These innocent young faces shine with natural goodness, so different from girls.
Your tickets.
Oh, thank you.
Good evening, miss.
Good evening, Mr.
I'm the bouncer.
Oh, don't you worry, miss. A lady never gets bounced. Are you hip?
Frankly, I've never found out.
Now's your chance to learn.
Well, you look strong enough to dance with me.
I have muscles of iron.
You dance?
Yes, I dance. But I don't jive. But you shall teach me. And while you do, we can discuss that book of poems you're going to publish for me.
This is going to be one of the fullest evenings of my life.
I've dedicated my latest one to you.
You unprincipled villain. Where's my son?
Isn't he here?
No.
He said he'd come. Oh, there he is.
Good evening, Mr. Hurd.
Oh, good evening.
Hello, Father.
You're in uniform?
Yes, I've given up the ballet. Too tough for me.
Tough?
Yes, every muscle in my body is aching, my toes are nearly broken, and I can't do an entrechat.
Then you're not going to resign your commission?
No, sir, I'm only suited for the soft life of the soldier. But I'm going back on one condition.
Condition? What condition?
That we take no action against Mr. Hurd. He told me the whole story last night, and I think he deserves every penny we gave him. Now, Father, remember the family motto. We act, later we think. Besides, I am back in uniform.
Very well. I agree the club can keep the money.
Simon, it's all right. Everyone says we can keep the money.
Oh, good.
Nothing to worry about now.
No, nothing, except the Morelli gang are going to kill me.
Don't be so silly. This is England. Things like that don't happen here. Come on, let's dance.
Good night. Good night. Thank you for coming. Good night. Good night.
A most interesting evening, Hurd. Oh, by the way, if you care to return to the rather humdrum occupation of printing, I'll see you Monday. But you'll have to give up this fascinating hobby of attending funerals.
Yes, Mr. Bentham, I'm cured of funerals.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Well, Simon, it seems that you are the hero of the day, even though your methods are a little unorthodox.
Unorthodox? Blimey, you could give him lessons in wormwood scrubs.
Nutter, it's time that you and Tommy were going home.
Good night, sir. Good night, miss.
Good night.
I think perhaps I'll lock up.
Get your hands up.
It's the Morelli gang. Put those things down at once. Guns can be very, very dangerous.
Save the sermon, Reverend, and get your hands up. Coming up. We've got some unfinished business to settle.
All right, Sergeant, get them. It worked.
Did it? Get up, you dose. Come on, mister. You got a date with a coffin. Get moving.
Right, Sergeant. This is the man you want, Nick Morelli.
You must be crazy to try and work the same gag again. Come on.
It's you that's crazy to try and work that coffin gag even once. You're under arrest, Nick. And your lovely new nose is wasted. But don't worry. Once you get the bandages off, you'll be able to smell the nice clean air on Dartmoor all the better. Take him away.
Just in time, Sergeant.
Oh, by the way, sir, there is a reward for the capture of these men.
How much?
£400.
£400?
It's exactly what we needed.
Stella. And you don't believe in miracles?